welcome. You're watching the India Development Debate. I'm Tamanna Inamdar. Now, a day before the oath-taking ceremony of the new government, the biggest question has become who will be the next finance minister. Arun Jaitley ended weeks of speculation by releasing a letter he wrote to the Prime Minister on Twitter, opting out of the new government due to health reasons. So who will be the next finance minister? What portfolio will Smriti Irani hold after pushing Rahul Gandhi out of Amethi? Will allies be accommodated, and to what extent? And the biggest question of all, will Amit Shah enter government or continue to run the BJP? To speak on all of this and more, I'm joined today by Nilanjan Sarkar, a senior visiting fellow at CPR, Neerja Chaudhary, political commentator and columnist, Sanjeev Srivastava, political commentator, and Rashid Kidwai, also political commentator and senior journalist. Welcome to all of you. So I know this is going to be a bit of kite flying, because really it's difficult to guesstimate what the Modi government will do, and journalists often get it wrong. But Sanjeev Srivastava, let me start with some educated guesses. It is going to be clear that Bengal will get representation, and a good amount of representation in the government and the Council of Ministers after the big push the BJP has received in Bengal. They will definitely give something as meaty as possible to the Shiv Sena and the JDU. Do you think those are safe guesses?
I think, though you were absolutely right, Tamanna, that to hazard any guess about the composition and who will get what names is very hazardous. And the one thing you can be very sure of, if you kind of take any name too often, then that person may be actually sitting out in the end. But yes, Bengal, Odisha, Northeast, in terms of regions, these are the new regions which will get some kind of a representation, meaty or substantial or relevant, at least symbolic, definitely. Hemanta Biswa Sharma, who has done a great job on Northeast, may be one of those who will be rewarded. JDU, Bihar elections next year in 2020, definitely the coalition dharma will be honored there, and Shiv Sena, Maharashtra elections are due in a few months. So again, but what will be important is, my guess is that the Prime Minister will definitely be giving portfolios based on his own expectations and assessment of the names which will be forwarded by the allies. So the allies may have some kind of a say in whom they want to send into the cabinet, but portfolios, I think allies won't get very many heavyweight portfolios, because that's a prerogative of the Prime Minister, and considering the composition of the new parliament with 303 seats to BJP alone, they are sure to retain most of the heavyweight, the big five kind of portfolios and more relevant ones. So other than that, anybody's guess. And the million-dollar question, the one question I really want an answer to, Mr. Amit Shah, will he be in, or he is already the lord of all his surveys, he can just continue to be there?
Okay, I think the million-dollar question, especially on economic channels like ours, is also who will be the finance minister. Neerja Chaudhary, do you want to hazard a guess? And also a few key points. First of all, with 303 seats, Prime Minister Modi doesn't really need to entertain allies, but he is likely to. Maharashtra elections are coming up, this year itself, and Bihar is not too far away. And secondly, he is known to have sprung surprises, whether it's in the Council of Ministers, whether it's during expansion of the group of ministers, or even during the selection of chief ministers in various state elections. You never know what to expect.
Yeah, I think I would like Sanjeev say that we can just be speculating, we can only be doing guesswork in a sense, because nobody really knows, barring the Prime Minister and Amit Shah. There used to be a time when cabinet formation was written about by the media, and we would often get it right. I remember getting it absolutely right during Narasimha Rao's time when he became Prime Minister. But now, I mean, we don't know, we simply don't know, and I agree with that. The Prime Minister will spring surprises, and he likes doing that. As for finance, it is the most watched ministry today, and that is true not just of the financial capital of the country. Bombay is watching it very eagerly, the world is watching it very eagerly to know what kind of policies the Prime Minister is now going to pursue. Of course, the economy needs urgent attention, the banking sector, jobs, etc., etc. You know it all. The attraction of investment, but also will he go in for awaited economic reforms? As far as the global community is concerned, they are waiting to see whether he will move incrementally or will he take some big ticket, going for big ticket reforms. Now, the name of Piyush Goyal, yes, he has held finance for several months while Mr. Arun Jaitley was not well. You know, the name of Mr. Amit Shah is also doing the rounds, particularly in his own home state of Gujarat, that he could be the new finance minister of India. There is Suresh Prabhu, who's done well in various ministries, low profile, but again trusted, and he doesn't cross the line. It will have to be somebody who has a very good working relationship with the Prime Minister, and the Prime Minister trusts him completely. Of course, the Prime Minister's office will be supreme, as was the case in the first term of Mr. Narendra Modi. So, you and I can, keep batting names just like this, but we will only know tomorrow evening.
We'll only know tomorrow evening.
Yeah. Thing, another buzz is that will the Prime Minister get, whether it will be technocrats that he may bring in a style that is presidential in nature, will he bring in outsiders with talent into his ministry? That's also a question mark.
No, absolutely. A lot of names doing the round. Definitely on, who could be the next finance minister. Piyush Goyal, the first name that has come to mind, Rashid Kidwai, because he has filled in for Arun Jaitley in, the last 5 years as and when he was required. But it was always made clear that Mr. Jaitley is the finance minister, and he has taken charge back as and when he could. Jayant Sinha was MOS finance but was moved out. Do you think that Amit Shah as finance minister is a far stretch? As Neerja has said that these are the rounds doing, but would Amit Shah want to, take over the finance ministry after the powerful position he's held? Would he be more apt for home or defense or other portfolios like that?
Tamanna, we must look at finance portfolio over the years. It has evolved. Gone are the days when Narendra Tiwari, Pranab Mukherjee, anybody who's terms of seniority or political weightage could be given finance portfolio. The finance portfolio has become extremely, specialized. It requires a certain amount of understanding, that kind of, what's going on around the world, and all the big financial institutions like World Bank, IMF, etc. and all. So in that sense, Mr. Piyush Goyal has some, developed some level of understanding. He's fiercely loyal. He was there for about 25 days or so in Varanasi, entire Purvanchal. He was managing. So in terms of, kind of a political capital, he's got, a lot of it. So I think Piyush Goyal is a most likely candidate to my mind. Of course, it is for Prime Minister to decide his team. But I think Amit Shah will, I think it's work in progress that the Maharashtra and Haryana elections are there. He is, he's very much, he's running the party, and party is expanding. Party has got, a lot of business to do. I think he's very much required in the party. So, but it is Prime Minister's wisdom. If he wants to draft him in government, then obviously it has to be something like, home or defense portfolio, where, name, stature, political stature matters a lot. Not so much specialization is required. So I think in that sense, if Mr. Amit Shah is coming in, it has to be home or defense ministry.
Imagine you agree with that, with the party and its expansion being so successful, and pretty much all of the credit of that and the party machinery goes to Amit Shah. Would he be asked to step off the helm of such an important task? Because it's an ongoing process. Elections are on throughout the 5-year cycle, and the BJP has not ceded any ground. If so, then the next question for the BJP would be, then who is BJP president?
I think it's an open game. I mean, I don't think we have a full understanding of who the next president could be. Amit Shah has been so larger than life. I mean, I think we were hearing that there were, differences between some of the ruling crew, between Amit Shah and Ram Madhav, for instance. We don't know how much that is true, right? I mean, it's a party that closes ranks very quickly. So I think we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, I think the question about whether you move Amit Shah out of the party president's role into some sort of ministry is really a question of how you want to project Amit Shah going forward, right? So this is not just a question of what are the electoral prospects of the party, but what are the electoral prospects for Amit Shah going forward? Is he being projected as an heir apparent? Is he being projected as, Narendra Modi has no children, Narendra Modi has no obvious heir apparent, so who are they sort of starting to position as the next kind of person who can take over? These are the kinds of questions that need to be answered. The other quick thing that I would say, which is a part of this calculation, is that when you have a party that has 303 seats, they are, and this is alluding to what the other panelists said, they are using the ministries potentially to gain a greater foothold in places they need to, right? This is why we've been talking about what they might do to signal to Bengal, Orissa, Maharashtra. In a case where a party does not have a single party majority, they need to bargain with the alliance partners. They need to make sure to keep the alliance together. That's not a problem for this NDA, right? So they can use the ministries very differently because they're trying to project a certain kind of image.
Absolutely. Let me get, Sanjeev Srivastava in, and, this is an open debate. If anyone has a point of view, let's come in on it. Sanjeev, the point about reaching out to newer areas, and we saw that in term one, where, you had a Kiran Rijiju in the cabinet, you had Babul Supriyo there within the Council of Ministers, because the Northeast and, West Bengal were sharp areas of focus for the party as well. The next areas left are clearly, Punjab, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, and all of these places. Do you think that we'll see some reflection of that as well in the people taking oath tomorrow?
Well, that's clearly a possibility. Telangana has given BJP 4 MPs, so that's one state. Karnataka has given BJP a handsome booty of 25 MPs, so someone should come in. Punjab, I really don't know. Punjab, the only option they have is Sunny Deol, in terms of which I don't think they have a ministry suitable enough for him right now. So, yes, it's a difficult one, but whatever we may discuss, whatever we may not discuss, the Prime Minister and Amit Shah would really have thought about just everything, every angle, political, administrative, what kind of agenda they have for the next 5 years, how do they want to position this government, what its policies will be. A very senior official told me a couple of weeks ago, actually none of these government's policies ended in 2019. They were all programs made till 2022. So next time in 2022, when the next plans will be made, it will be till 2027. So for them, a lot of things are work in progress, but this is a very significant second term where he'd like to consolidate, build upon, and answer all those critics who thought in terms of reforms, in terms of big development, nothing much has happened. So how does he accelerate and put the pedal on all those fronts is the big challenge. And how does he does it with smart political thinking and the roadmap for the BJP in future. So, and whatever we may discuss, all 5 of us, 4 of us, they know better. One thing that they have conclusively established is, and as far as politics is concerned, they are the past masters. No point even trying to outguess them.
No, so it's not about outguessing.
But yes, 2 big questions. I'll reiterate.
Yeah.
Amit Shah, yes, Amit Shah's future, and Nilanjan was very right. How do they want to position him? Is it just about expanding the party's footprint, or establishing now onwards in grooming Amit Shah as a likely successor to Mr. Modi? Will Mr. Modi like to do that so soon in 2019? I don't know. He has the answer again. And number 2, like you said and everybody else has said, who will be the finance minister? Will it be one of the obvious names, or will we have a surprise outsider, technocrat, what have you?
So the only big, change that we know will happen for sure is in the portfolio of finance minister, and that is because that was revealed by Arun Jaitley himself today. So Rashid Kidwai, let me come to you with the question that considering this government has, won a huge mandate.
Also foreign minister.
And
also foreign minister, because
Sushma Swaraj made it clear she wanted
has kind
to
of
step
announced that.
Yeah, but I don't know. Is it that clear as far as Sushma Swaraj is concerned? Because she said she didn't want to run for elections. But
no, it is not. It is not. She just said she didn't want to contest.
Exactly.
You know.
So I think it would be anybody's guess if she would be asked to stay on in the foreign ministry, maybe, maybe not. Rashid Kidwai, the point I was making is considering that this government has, won a massive mandate after a 5-year term, technically, by that logic, the same ministers should continue because the vote was, for this good governance that we saw apparently, and then you should have the same set of faces.
Yes, absolutely. I think we have to look at very closely how Prime Minister acts tomorrow.
Vote was for the
because
same Prime
remember
Minister
there is a very senior minister, Home Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh is there. Whether he will be retained in home or in government or made speaker, something like that, there is all kind of speculation are there. I think one important thing to see is whether this old guard of the BJP, people who have been, senior to Mr. Modi, will they stay on in this government or not? That is a one pointer that we will get to know. If that doesn't happen, then you will see there are a lot of, new faces and all are there. If Mr. Modi, continues, continuity, then you will see that perhaps Sushma Swaraj may also continue for some more time. Remember, there are plenty of, Rajya Sabha are there, like Mr. Ramvilas Paswan. He is not a, member of parliament. He didn't contest, so he can always come in a Rajya Sabha from Bihar, where a seat has been vacated because Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad has become Lok Sabha MP. Similarly, in Gujarat also there will be a couple of vacancies in place of Smriti Irani, who was also selected to get a big portfolio. So Prime Minister can get people who are from outside or who are not members of the House.
Okay, now Sanjeev couldn't resist the last question I asked Rashid Kidwai. So Sanjeev, I must let you come in. It's unlikely that the same faces or all of them will be repeated.
No, I was just
but
trying to say two things.
Forward. Yeah.
No, because Tamanna, because you said this, the logic of same set of faces to continue ministers, the vote was for Mr. Modi, and Mr. Modi is there as the Prime Minister. The other faces are, with due respect, are less relevant. I won't call them irrelevant. The other question which I will be very keen to know, what happens to the former chief ministers? Because Mr. Shivraj Singh Chauhan and Vasundhara Raje and Raman Singh are unlikely to have much of a place in state politics from here on. At least that's what the signals are. So will they be accommodated somewhat here or whatever? So that's another curiosity point in my mind.
The day the verdict was out and that evening, in the huge address and speech that Prime Minister Modi gave, one very important observation there was that Shivraj Singh Chauhan had rushed from Bhopal. Make sure he was in Delhi and on the dais. Madhya Pradesh is a different story altogether. Neerja, why don't you come in on this point? Madhya Pradesh is a different story altogether. We don't know if that government is staying or going, the Congress-led government. And maybe Shivraj Singh Chauhan is sort of on standby to see what happens in Madhya Pradesh.
I would suspect that Mr. Modi would go in for somebody new in Madhya Pradesh than have Shivraj Singh Chauhan go back. This is my hunch. Here also at the center, I feel he will probably now put his own team in place rather than relying on all those. Some he'll have to retain, but all those that he inherited in 2014. And we've seen this in the the tickets that have been given, those given primacy in the roles that they have played. So I think if there is a chance to form a government in Madhya Pradesh, to answer your question, I would suspect it would be somebody other than Shivraj Singh Chauhan. Though Chauhan, the sympathy for him even at 2 days after he lost the election was great in Bhopal. People felt that probably overdone the mandate. such was the goodwill he enjoyed, and it was a very close fight in that sense. But I would say, even for, I agree with people,
does it
the
really
first
matter,
signal the
sympathy
Prime
for him?
Minister gave that Mr.
Yeah. No,
No, it doesn't really matter, but there was sympathy for him. That doesn't, it's not a relevant matter. But the first signal that the Prime Minister, I felt, gave that Mr. Amit Shah may be his successor was the press conference that he addressed along with Mr. Amit Shah.
Yeah.
When he spoke at that press conference, but he allowed Amit Shah to field all the questions and then made the remarks that he is the supreme, he is the party president, and so on. And clearly, if you've seen, Mr. Amit Shah also has been speaking at the rallies, the manner in which he's been speaking in Parliament, speaking on a whole lot of issues, and I think we'll see much more of that. He could be Home Minister. That's the first thing that comes to your mind when you think of the new cabinet. But from Gujarat, I must admit there are many people who feel that he will be given finance.
Okay,
For
so
all
there
it's
is there is hope. Mumbai is abuzz also with a whole host of names. Piyush Goyal is prominent among them. So everyone is pitching for what they think works best. But Nilanjan, I want you to come in on a couple of points. First is that if Amit Shah is indeed being groomed as the next supreme leader in a sense of the BJP electorally, then he will need to have that much of governance in store. Of course, as Home Minister of Gujarat, he did for several years, but in the central government, that's the first point. Second is, what about outperformers like Smriti Irani that Narendra Modi would be keen to really reward in some way or the other?
So, I mean, let's start with the Amit Shah question. I agree that if, and this is a big if, right? If Amit Shah is being positioned for a role much larger than party president and is being, groomed in some way for the party for either taking over for Modi when all is said and done, or for some other very senior position, then he will be given some kind of governance experience. Also, I would say that there's a second thing. Amit Shah has shown so much skill in running the party and expanding its base. Perhaps you also want him to use some of that skill in terms of expanding the powers of the government institutionally, right? So it may also be just simply a question of skill. But I do largely agree that it makes sense given the way that Amit Shah is being projected. If we just take the kind of the way the speeches and the images from results day were coming out, it makes sense now to put Amit Shah in sort of a more popular role in governance. And so I would think that we may see something like that, although who knows, right? When it comes to sort of rewarding somebody, maybe, right? I think that my own instinct, and I said, we're all guessing here, nobody knows. My own instinct is you don't use ministries on rewarding people. You use ministries strategically, particularly this version of the BJP, and particularly with the level of mandate that they have. So if they don't believe that Smriti Irani is sending some kind of signal to the electorate, or bringing them something from a governance perspective, I'm not sure why they would accommodate someone like her. But you can see that there is one signal she does bring, right? She does bring the signal of a Congress Mukt Bharat, right? A signal of sort of doing away with the Gandhi dynasty. So there might be a reason for keeping her in a prominent position as a signal to the electorate. But I think if she is put in a position of power, if she's put in a ministry, something that we're all paying attention to, it is being used as a signal to the electorate. It's not being used as a reward for her in some way.
That's for sure. Let's also talk a bit about those ministers who are perceived as performers in the current government. And Sanjeev, let me come to you on that very quickly. Nitin Gadkari, Piyush Goyal, to that extent, who then deftly handled finance and then went on to railways. Will people like the Suresh Prabhu, who was a surprise choice at that time because the Shiv Sena was fighting, etc., but he stuck on. Do you think that these people will be continued?
Well, amongst these names, I'll be most curious about Mr. Gadkari
Yeah.
as to, because it was universally kind of accepted
Yeah.
that he did a very good job in his highways and port building and ministry. So, but at the same time, there was a lot of political innuendos and speculation around him in the run up to the elections. Now, whether Mr. Modi, because frankly, it is completely up to him and Mr. Amit Shah, whether they want to just bypass those kind of speculation, those kind of conversations which happen in the run up to the elections, or keep that in mind, or have some other reason for either elevating, demoting, retaining him in the same kind of a position. It is such a situation where actually nobody else has the power or the mandate to decide. So anybody who may think that he has done a great job, but if the bosses don't think that, then it is anybody's call. And I tell you, Tamanna, one thing, since you have taken one name very regularly, the more any particular name will be speculated upon, the more difficult will be for that person.
Which one are you talking about? Which one are you talking about?
No. I won't. Any particular name which gathers a lot of currency will certainly not be appreciated.
Okay.
Will be seen as doing some kind of
look,
lobbying.
and
that is a very big minus.
I don't know if you're talking about
That is
Piyush
a very
Goyal
big
because
negative.
he filled in.
No,
He filled in a couple of
I'm
times.
just saying.
Amit Shah, everyone is wondering.
I'm not saying, I'm not taking anybody's name.
Yeah.
The only thing is, Amit Shah is beyond lobbying or beyond getting anything.
Yeah.
It's the lesser mortals after Mr. Modi and Mr. Amit Shah.
Yeah.
So anybody who is even remotely perceived as jockeying or lobbying for a particular thing are very likely not
Neerja
to
wanted
get
to come in. Neerja, I must hear what you had to say.
No, I would say you asked, who are the ones who've done well.
Yeah.
I think JP Nadda has done very well in health. Dharmendra Pradhan has done very well in petroleum. He's delivered, these gas cylinders became a point of talk, a discussion everywhere all over the country, and he delivered on that. Nirmala Sitharaman came into defense, I think has done reasonably well. And Nitin Gadkari, of course, and Suresh Prabhu, of course, and Prakash Javadekar, he has followed the BJP and Sangh's agenda in education. You may disagree with it, but as far as the RSS and BJP are concerned,
Yeah.
he has also done well. So but one would be looking, Jayant Sinha, for instance, his name is doing the rounds.
Yeah.
Will somebody like that get a position, more than what he had last time? I don't know about that, but certainly I would think, as I said earlier, amongst the next lot, the number three position sort of in the tiers of hierarchy, I would suspect he will promote a lot of new people, and I have a feeling more women will also come in, because he made a special point of it at that NDA's parliamentary party meeting, referring to the number of women who had won and number of women in BJP who had won. I'm also wondering whether of the Sukhbir Badal and his wife, Harsimrat Badal, which one of the two will actually get it in the cabinet.
Yeah, as the oldest ally, there will be perhaps something.
In their allies, for instance, I think one of the two will get it. Of course, Ramvilas Paswan, his party's passed a resolution saying it should be him rather than somebody else. From the Janata Dal U, who will it be? Can Pawan Verma, his services be utilized, though he is not in parliament? So, will the Prime Minister focus on talent, mixture of talent and youth and relied faces, which is an obvious thing to say? So anyway, there will be the symbolism, the signals, as well as I think
all of
talent
that, all
and
of
mission
that
will have to come.
All of that, and you know where to come when you really want to know what it means, because what we're likely to see tomorrow is people swearing in. We won't know their portfolios till later. The sharpest analysis right here on the India Development Debate. Don't forget to join us tomorrow at 9. I want to thank all of our analysts on the show today for coming in with their views. And I just want to say one thing before I go into a very short break. In 2014, when this discussion was on who would be in the Council of Ministers, the question for the BJP was, where is the bench? A lot of people who then finally made it to the Council of Ministers weren't well known then. Some were, faces you'd seen on television debates, and one didn't know how they would perform. 5 years later, and with an even bigger mandate, that question has now receded into the background. You know that this is a government which was helmed from the Prime Minister's office, and ministers, whoever they are, will be taken to task. So we'll wait and see how the new government looks tomorrow, especially who becomes the next finance minister. This is the space to watch. I'm taking a very short break. But on the other side is a very interesting debate. We know there has been a crackdown on Naresh Goyal and on DHFL in the last week. Was there an overreaction or was it valid? I'm coming back with that debate, like the likes of which you won't hear on prime time, so don't go away.